Ever pondered over the threads that link England's involvement in apartheid South Africa and today's Palestine? This tale we're about to unravel is one that's been spun by the hands of time, weaving together threads of history that might, at first glance, seem unrelated. Yet, as we delve deeper, the intricate patterns of England's involvement in both South Africa's apartheid and today's Palestine begin to emerge. Apartheid South Africa, a regime of racial segregation and discrimination that gripped the nation for almost half a century. And Palestine today, a land of conflict and struggle, where sovereignty and human rights are subjects of an ongoing debate. Two different parts of the world, two different eras, yet bound by an unseen connection: England. But this isn't just about England's known roles in these situations. It's about the hidden chapters, the untold stories that have been masked by the dust of time and the veils of political convenience. It's about the whispers of history that often go unheard, drowned out by the loud proclamations of the victors. Our journey is to expose these lesser-known truths, to shine a torch on the historical conspiracies that have been lurking in the shadows. It's about pulling back the curtain on the puppet masters who've manipulated narratives to suit their own ends. The aim? To challenge the conventional wisdom, to contemplate the possibility that the Western narratives we've been fed might be distorted, or worse, intentionally misleading. To question the role that England has played in crafting these narratives, and most importantly, to understand the impact it has on the world we live in today. As we embark on this expedition into the past, we'll find ourselves questioning the present, and perhaps reshaping our perspective of the future. This isn't just a journey through time. It's a journey of discovery, of questioning, of understanding. So, as we peel back the layers of history, prepare to question what you thought you knew. Apartheid South Africa, a dark chapter in history. But who turned the pages? As we delve into the murky waters of this past era, we uncover the less visible role of England in the establishment and sustenance of the apartheid regime in South Africa. While many are familiar with the brutal policies of racial segregation that marked this period, few are aware of England's intricate involvement in the system's creation and support. England's interests in South Africa were not merely colonial, but were deeply rooted in political, economic, and strategic considerations. Political interest was driven by a desire to maintain influence within the region. South Africa, a former British colony, retained strong ties to England. By supporting the apartheid government, England could ensure its continued influence in South Africa's domestic and foreign policies. Economic interests were equally compelling. South Africa was home to an array of natural resources, including gold, diamonds, and precious metals. These resources fueled England's industrial sector and contributed significantly to its economic prosperity. Supporting the apartheid regime ensured unrestricted access to these resources, thereby maintaining the flow of wealth back to England. Lastly, strategic interests cannot be overlooked. South Africa's geographical location was crucial for maritime routes. By supporting the apartheid regime, England could safeguard its naval access to the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, ensuring strategic advantage in both peacetime and times of conflict. However, England's involvement was not overt. It was a subtle manipulation, a hidden hand quietly turning the pages of South Africa's history. England's support of the apartheid regime often came in the form of tacit approval, economic aid, or political backing on international platforms. In the grand scheme of things, England's role in apartheid South Africa was not a mere footnote. It was a chapter that shaped the course of history and continues to influence the present. England's involvement in apartheid South Africa wasn't just a footnote, it was a chapter. Fast forward to today's Palestine, and we see the echoes of a similar past. The narrative shifts, the characters change, but the plot remains eerily familiar. England once again plays a pivotal role in shaping the current situation in Palestine, much like the unseen hand that stirred the pot in apartheid South Africa. The Balfour Declaration of 1917, a letter from the British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community, was a significant milestone. It expressed Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This seemingly benign gesture was the first domino to fall, setting off a chain of events that would lead to the current state of affairs. Much like South Africa, the underlying motivations were strategic rather than humanitarian. Control over Palestine offered a key geopolitical advantage, acting as a buffer between the Suez Canal and the vast oil reserves of the Middle East. However, the narrative was spun differently. The plight of the Jewish people, displaced by the horrors of the Holocaust, was highlighted. Their need for a homeland was emphasized, while the impact on the indigenous Palestinian population was downplayed. This narrative manipulation, much like in South Africa, served to mask the true motivations. The parallels are striking. In both cases, the indigenous population was displaced, their rights trampled upon in the name of a greater cause. The world watched on, largely silent, as the narrative spun by the powers that be took hold. And England, once again, played a key role in shaping these narratives and the course of history. Today, as we witness the ongoing struggle in Palestine, we must ask ourselves, are we witnessing a repeat of history? Is this another case of a powerful nation manipulating the narrative to serve its own ends? History repeats itself, but often in new guises. History is written by the victors, but who holds the pen? Let's delve into the great narrative manipulation. The story of England's involvement in Apartheid South Africa and today's Palestine is not a simple tale of heroes and villains. It's a complex web of power, politics, and propaganda. Over the years, the narrative has been twisted and turned by various actors, each with their own agendas. But let's not forget, England too held the pen. Consider this. England's role in developing apartheid in South Africa is often downplayed, if not completely ignored. The narrative is spun to portray them as a benevolent force, seeking to end racial segregation. While it's true that England did play a part in dismantling apartheid, this narrative conveniently overlooks their earlier contributions in establishing the very system they later helped to dismantle. Similarly, in the case of Palestine, the narrative is carefully crafted to depict England as a mere bystander, caught in the crossfire of a complex political struggle. This narrative, while not entirely false, obscures England's active role in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the region. From the Balfour Declaration to the creation of Israel, England's hand has been instrumental, yet often hidden beneath layers of political rhetoric and diplomatic niceties. So, why this manipulation of narrative? Well, it's simple. Controlling the narrative means controlling public perception. It means shaping how the world views these events, and more importantly, England's role in them. It's a powerful tool, one that can be used to sanitize history, absolve guilt, and justify future actions. But here's the catch. The narrative is not an invincible fortress. It's a fragile construct, vulnerable to the relentless pursuit of truth. And as we dig deeper, as we question the accepted narratives, we start to see the cracks. We start to see the truth that often lies beneath the ink. The truth often lies beneath the ink. So where does this leave us? As we've journeyed through the hidden corners of history, we've unearthed some intriguing truths. We've seen England's quiet hand in shaping the landscape of apartheid South Africa and the echoes of this involvement in Palestine today. We've delved into the murky depths of narrative manipulation and seen how nations, organizations, and bodies have twisted the truth to fit their own agendas. We've seen, too, the power of the hidden hand, the unseen influence that can alter the course of history. It's a power that continues to shape our world, often in ways that we don't fully understand. But by seeking out the hidden truths, by challenging the accepted narratives, we can begin to see the world in a new light. What we've uncovered today is only the tip of the iceberg. There are countless more stories waiting to be told, countless more truths waiting to be discovered. And it's up to us, each and every one of us, to seek them out. We must remember, history is not a static, unchanging entity. It's a living, breathing organism, constantly evolving and shifting. And it's our responsibility to question, to probe, to dig beneath the surface and uncover the hidden truths that lie beneath. So as we step away from this journey today, let's not forget what we've learned. Let's continue to question, to seek, to challenge. Let's not accept the accepted narratives at face value. Let's strive to uncover the hidden truths, the unseen connections, the silent manipulations. Because the more we question, the more we learn. And the more we learn, the closer we come to understanding the true nature of our world. If you're intrigued by the unconventional, eager to challenge historical norms, and ready to explore the charted but with a different lens, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time,